You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Thursday, happy Jupiter day, and happy birthday to one of the most notable Leos, at least here in the United States, Barack Obama. It's President Obama's birthday today, and he's a great representation of Leo leadership, right? This like larger than life presence, very proud. I think I see him as a higher expression of Leo, but of course I don't know him personally, so I'm sure he has some ego stuff too. Another very notable Leo worldwide is Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, of course, Prince Harry's wife. Cole Sprouse is a Leo. Really interesting. Well, of course, Dylan Sprouse too, you know, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. They're twins. But what's really interesting that I just discovered is that Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, I don't know if she was Queen Elizabeth I, actually had a birthday today too. So interesting that Meghan Markle has the same birthday as Queen Elizabeth. Louis Armstrong, Billy Bob Thornton is a Leo. Let's see, anyone else popping out here? I mean, those were some pretty big names. You can't get bigger than Queen Elizabeth, right? Today's going to be a little bit different. Hi, Diane. Grand Rising, Danielle. Happy to see you here. Hey, Rachel. Hi, Jackie. Oh, I just learned something cool about plants yesterday, is that they often need seeds planted in fall, providing a period over winter, basically a dormant period where they aren't growing. Oh, I have a feeling a good analogy is coming from this, but rather they are establishing their roots, getting acclimated to the weather so that come spring, they're ready to grow and bloom. We all go through seasons, and winter is one of them. I was actually just talking to a friend about this yesterday. Just right now, it feels very much like summer in my life. There's a lot going on, and we're in the middle of summer, so there's a lot of activity. A lot of people are out and about, but winter will come and things will slow down. So just celebrating the season you are in personally right now. And Diane said that when it's time to grow, we're firmly set and strong and really can bloom. I wish I'd thought of it like this before. I thought I'd share, but the information you need is coming to you when you need it, right, Diane? So even though maybe you didn't think of things this way before, maybe you weren't supposed to. Maybe now is the time you were supposed to have this realization. So as I mentioned, we're going to do things a little differently today, and actually adjust the mic here. Not sure if you can hear that on your end. We don't have a whole lot to talk about astrologically, so I'm going to go through what's happening today pretty quickly and then just open it up for any questions. We'll take a look at the chart. We'll kind of process the current energy together because we have the time and space to do that today. So let's just start with what's currently happening. The sun is in Leo. The moon is now in Scorpio. The moon moved into Scorpio at about 4:45 this morning. And the Scorpio moon is not making a whole lot of connections. But let's just take a moment for the Scorpio moon. Not only because I love a Scorpio moon, I am a Scorpio moon. I draw Scorpio moons in, like I always find other Scorpio moons. But also, the Scorpio moon can feel a little bit intense, especially if you're not someone who really loves that energy, and it's an acquired taste, if you will. So Scorpio is known for deep emotions. It's the deepest, darkest sign of the zodiac, and it really asks us to go deep within emotionally. And so, you could feel like you are emotionally reaching new depths under the Scorpio moon. The moon also represents kind of what we crave, what we're nurtured by. So we're going to be nurtured by intimacy, by deep connections, by deep conversations, by going deep with other people too. Feelings can be intense under the Scorpio moon though. So that's something to keep in mind. If it feels like your emotions are intense right now, or even other people's emotions are intense, thank you, Scorpio moon. The moves we're making now though, because we're coming into the first quarter phase. So we'll talk all about the first quarter moon in Scorpio tomorrow. But as we approach the first quarter phase, today feels like this day where we're gathering any final information. The Scorpio moon really favors doing deep dives and research. And once we get to the only transit we're talking about today, you'll see why I'm saying this. But today feels like that day to really like check in with your deepest motivations, be open to new information, do a little bit more research before you make moves, because under the first quarter moon tomorrow, it's the time to take action. It's the time to move forward. And the moves we make under the first quarter moon in Scorpio will be backed by deep motivation, by deep desire. So it's really good today to get clear on what that desire is. And here's why. Take a look at the current chart. The only connection the moon made, and in fact, I'm going to back up actually about 5 hours because I want you to see with your own eyes, your own eyeballs, what's happening. When the moon was at 0 degrees, it formed a sextile to Mercury in Virgo. And we talked all about Mercury in Virgo yesterday. It went into Virgo just before midnight, so we're really starting to feel Mercury in Virgo today. You guys got a preview of it yesterday. And Mercury in Virgo is bringing the clarity. It's making us more analytical. We're more aware of the details with Mercury in Virgo. We're more aware of even how we're communicating, being more detailed, being more intentional with the small words we use and how they make up the bigger picture. So there is an element of analysis, absolutely, with Mercury in Virgo over the next 3 weeks. And right when the moon moved into Scorpio, it connected with Mercury in Virgo at 0 degrees. We talk a lot about the 29th degree, and you can see that with the blue line here, what we're talking about. We talk a lot about the 29th degree, right? The anoretic degree, making us jumpy, impulsive, restless. We just want to get onto the next energy. And yesterday with Mercury at the 29th degree, you might have felt like that, a little bit scrambled, a little bit like blurting things out, especially with Mercury at the last degree of Leo. In fact, I'll just share a little bit. Last night, I had a total communication mishap. I wouldn't even call it a mishap. It wasn't bad or anything, but my friend and I were planning on recording a video last night, and I thought we were doing one thing, and she had something completely different in mind. And so there was a good 30 minutes where we were in the same space, and I was like, what is happening? It was just a little bit scrambled communication. It ended up working out just fine. And if you are a friend or a fan of Kat of Crystal Rising, today's video on the Lionsgate portal, she's doing a whole 8-day series on the Lionsgate portal that's still open right now, and we talk all about the astrology of the Lionsgate portal in her video today. But I did not think I was going to be part of the video. So just the anoretic degree is the point here, can make things a little bit scrambled. Now Mercury is at the 0 degree, not even the first degree, 0 degrees. And the 0 degree has a lot to learn. So I see Mercury at 0 degrees Virgo as us being very eager to analyze, very eager to observe the details, very eager to take in new information. This can actually be helpful today, and we'll really be feeling this most of the day today, just to be curious and stay open. We're going to really want to make sense of things today with Mercury at 0 degrees. It's like we just want to understand, we just want the answers, especially because Mercury likes to be in Virgo. So, we just really want that analysis today, and we might not fully get it. So just be patient with yourself, but know that we're really going to feel eager for clarity with Mercury at 0 degrees Virgo. And then the Scorpio moon connecting with Mercury being the only connection it's making all day today, right when it moved into Scorpio too. There is an element of not only wanting to understand things and analyze things, but wanting to understand them on a deeper level, wanting to process our emotions on a deep level. And I will say talking, using our words, can help us process emotions with this supportive angle between Mercury and the moon. But there is this feeling of wanting to get to the bottom of things, wanting to get to the truth of it, wanting to get the answers now. And we can be a little bit impatient. So I will just, this isn't like a scary warning or anything, but just okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, I realize I'm blurry. Sorry. You guys are getting like a full behind the scenes close up of my face. It'll back out in just a second. Oh my God. My power went out. My power just went out for the past, I don't know, 4 minutes. And I'm shocked the stream is still going. I am truly shocked right now. I think you froze. Okay, what in the world? I'm just going to go through your comments. I can't believe you're all still here. Truly, I don't even know how long the power was out. I can't believe I was able to get back in. We'd basically gone through everything I was going to say about the forecast. So now let's just chat. But whoa, yeah, it just surged. The power surged. Once I'm done with this live, I'll figure out what happened. But we're back and you're still here. So hey there. Rachel, I loved Cole Sprouse. He was my childhood crush. Specifically Cole, or who's even the other one? Cole, and now I can't even think of his name because I could never tell the difference. Okay, let me pull back up our transits and everything too, just so I have it as reference. Let's see. Seems to be trigger season and desire for planning next steps. Kevin, yes, desire for planning the next steps. We're in the waxing crescent phase. So we're really in that planning phase, that analysis, as we talked about, gathering the information so we can take action. So you're always so tuned in and right on the nose. Yeah, I think you froze. Danielle, just updating everybody. Her power went out because my phone was not connected, obviously, to the power source. And people jumped on Instagram and yeah, just a weird power surge, everyone. I love you all. You're like my remote producers. This just makes me so happy. Wow, last thing I heard was, I don't want this to be a scary warning, and then the power went out. How ominous. Yeah, maybe whatever I was saying, I don't even remember what I was saying next, but whatever I was saying next, clearly the universe was like, you don't need to hear this. So the scary warning wasn't even needed. You guys are so funny. I know, you guys are so committed. Like, I love my ride or dies who are just here every day, keeping each other updated in the chat. It'll be very interesting to look back on the analytics of this video after and see how many people just drop out when the stream drops out, or like, you know, when they watch it back after, or how many people just hung out for, I don't know, was it 4 minutes, 3 minutes? Rachel, specifically Cole. Dylan is the other one. I just love that. Oh yeah, he was the more nerdy twin. He was a sweetie. I used to love that show. Really taken me back. We are clearly the same generation. You've got the Britney Spears oracle cards. We're talking about Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. We're the same. Yeah. Oh, I meant Ken. I just saw Kevin down here. I think that's why. But I meant Ken. I know your name. They were the kid in Big Daddy too. And their name was Julian, which is really funny because my partner's name is Julian in Big Daddy. I love that movie too. He was just they were both just the cutest kids. Okay. That was weird. That was bizarre. Can't believe we're still here. Let me know if you have any questions about the current transits. I kind of want to share a few things that have been coming up for me. So let me just pull them up because I got to reset here a little bit. But I was kind of combing through some headlines this morning and just kind of taking a pulse of, you know, we've been talking all week about these major changes that are happening in the collective with Mars conjunct Uranus, conjunct the North Node, big shifts happening, big changes. So because we have such a low-key day-to-day and we're talking about analyzing and researching and finding new awareness and gathering more data, I figured we could just kind of check in with what's been going on around the world. So let me see here. Let me pull up a few headlines I screenshotted from Twitter, everybody's basically news source now, which I don't know how I feel about that, but it is what it is. That's the world we live in. I actually saw Chani Nichols share this tweet, but I wanted to go back and find it on Twitter. So this just came out, I believe, yesterday. The Earth is spinning faster than usual and had its shortest day ever. And if it continues, we may have to institute what's called a negative leap second. Some engineers say it would wreak havoc on IT systems. At the beginning of the week, you probably remember me saying there would be new information, maybe shocking information, something to do with technology, with Uranus ruling technology. This really screams, I know we're talking all about Earth, but remember, this is all happening in Taurus, the sign of Earth, the sign most associated with Mother Earth. And, you know, I talked about climate change or maybe some big weather events or something going on with the Earth telling us, hey, things are off. The best way to think of Uranus energy, or one of the best ways to remember that Uranus is just kind of throwing things off balance or off kilter or shaking things up, is when you literally look at Uranus. And Uranus is like orbiting at a tilt. It's got tilted rings. It's all over the place. I feel like Uranus is really influencing, you know, this obviously, because we're talking about a conjunction with Uranus, but this just screamed to me like, okay, this is this conjunction, news coming out right now, new information coming out. Seems a little aggressive. Some engineers say it would wreak havoc on IT systems. It feels like Y2K 2.0, you know, like, oh, if we have to change the time, everything is going to fall apart and all the nukes are going to go off and everything. I haven't read fully into what this would mean or if they're going to take action on it. Of course, I'm sure this will take people from all over the world coming together and figuring out the best course of action. But this just feels to me like one of those headlines of many, I'm sure, that ties directly to what's going on astrologically. The other thing, speaking of climate change and Earth, Bloomberg Green, literally at climate on Twitter, tweeted this: the Western U.S. is an empire built on snow, and that snow is vanishing. Disappearing snowpack is accelerating, and the historic drought across the Western U.S., or it's accelerating the drought, excuse me, and so far government responses haven't matched the scale of the problem. I can attest to this because I have been reporting on cities on either side of the Sierra Nevada for the past 6 years now. And, you know, going up to the snow and literally reporting in the snow and reporting on the snow surveys. And the Sierra Nevada, for those of you who aren't familiar, is the major mountain range here in California. And drought has been a huge issue, and there's been a hyper focus on how much snow is in the snowpack, because the snow obviously is what melts and fills all of our reservoirs and, you know, make sure that we have enough water to drink and in our rivers and to irrigate our fields. So just another interesting headline that had to do with the climate and climate change and disruption to the climate and new information. Uranus rules science as well. So scientific information coming out showing us what shifts or changes are happening to Mother Earth. What are you guys saying? Oh, that's kind of a trigger name from that toxic relationship, even though it's the name of my best friend. I will not call you that name again. I don't want to trigger you. One other thing I want to point out too is that I just saw on Twitter this morning, iPhone 14 is coming out. New technological announcements, cue Uranus conjunct the North Node conjunct Mars, this motivation, this drive to put out new technology, right? So just a few things that I've noticed that feel like they are directly linked to the conjunction happening this week on a collective level. And I'd love to hear if you all have had any thoughts, seen a headline, seen something happen in the collective and thought like, oh, that makes sense. I know that there has been something going on with Sandy Hook. I don't know if it was a ruling, but of course this major mass shooting in the United States that really changed the trajectory of how we view school safety, or at least in recent years. So, you know, aggression, Mars. I do want to point out though, before this conjunction, a lot of astrologers were like, wait, be careful, watch out, because something scary is going to happen. And I'm grateful, knock on wood, nothing like that has happened yet, really, or I haven't seen anything. It really does feel like just a shift in information, new awareness, new technology coming out, new scientific evidence being released, things like that. I wanted to mention something about innovation. Please do. I read an article the other day that they separated twins that were conjoined by the head. I think it was successful. I love stuff like that. I used to watch, you know, when I had cable, I used to watch like TLC, Separated at Birth and stuff like that, or all those things. Conjoined twins like really interest me, and I don't know why, but it's so cool. Science, technology, innovation. Yeah. Can astrology affect disasters? I read somewhere when Uranus, Mars, North Node versus Saturn could be upheaval. This was a few days ago, or is it still going on? Yeah, just kind of like what I was talking about. A lot of astrologers were like, be careful, watch out. Even on Monday, I was like, it makes me a little nervous. Everything happening in Russia right now. I believe Ukraine, what's happening, and I am not an expert, please do your own research. What's happening is that Ukraine is starting to kind of be able to break free a little bit. Uranus is also this energy of wanting to break free, making moves to break free. I think they were able to send a shipment of grain outside of their borders, or the farthest outside of their borders. Seems like something small, but actually could be a big move that's being able to happen. So I could see shifts happening. Mars squares Saturn specifically. Let me pull this up here. Mars is squaring Saturn on August 7th, so on Sunday. And let's see what else is happening on Sunday. Venus is trining Neptune, though, which is a really fortunate, positive transit. Venus has really been helping us out in a lot of ways and really helping bring in a loving energy amidst all of the chaos. Thank you, Venus. But let me show you on the chart here. So we have this triple conjunction. Why isn't it showing? Hold on. Can you see? Well, either way. We have the triple conjunction in Taurus. It's just not showing my mouse, but you guys know the chart well enough by now. And there is a square to Saturn that's about to play out. So the triple conjunction is happening at 18 degrees. Mars is now at 20 degrees. On Sunday, when Mars reaches 22 degrees, it will directly square Saturn. But all of these planets right now are loosely squaring Saturn. So there is an element of responsibility. There is an element of really forcing us to face the lessons we're learning. A lot of the headlines I just brought up were very much about lessons we're learning, right? With climate change, with Sandy Hook, with Russia and Ukraine. There's a lot of big collective lessons being learned right now, and probably a lot of personal lessons you're learning. I love that we started today with Diane talking about planting seeds in the fall so that they can lay dormant over winter. That's a personal lesson that Diane is learning, and she's like, oh, I wish I would have learned this sooner. But this conjunction is what brought that out of you. And remember, we're also in the Lionsgate portal, which I want to really dive into on Monday on 8/8. We'll talk about the numerology of the number 8. We'll talk about the Lionsgate portal a little bit more. Maybe I'll bring on a guest if I can. And this is a time where, you know, it's believed that downloads can come through, light codes, just sitting in the sun, observing the stars, looking up at Sirius at dawn, where we can gain new information and new insights. So whatever's coming through for you, even if it's just that analogy with the seeds being planted in the fall, really hold on to that and sit with that, because it's here to teach you a lesson, and it's no coincidence it's happening not only during this conjunction, but also during the Lionsgate portal. This is a time where a lot of insights, profound realizations can happen. But yeah, Mars squaring Saturn is really keeping this energy alive in a lot of ways. But at the same time, if you look at the chart, Venus is at 21 degrees of Cancer, forming a sextile to Mars. So yes, Mars is squaring Saturn, and it's intense and it's harsh and it's learning the lessons and it's duty and responsibility and the things we need to do, right? But also Venus is there with a supportive angle just to say, like, but you always can reach back into love, but you can always reach back into pleasure. Take care of your body. You know, really honor your body, give your body the nourishment it needs. Venus in Cancer really wants us to take care of ourselves emotionally and makes us crave that nourishment and that nurturing. So that's kind of the answer to the tension right now, is leaning back into love. We can say that anytime, but Venus is really reminding of us this to us during this big conjunction. I've been thinking of you, Danielle. I've been noticing that you've been kind of at home. My health has taken a few steps back, and then I caught a gnarly cold on top of it. I feel like there's something I'm releasing or needing to learn, but I don't understand what's going on in my body. I need to take a look at your chart again too, and I'll send you a little message because I still have your chart from the reading we did a couple months ago. But you're heading into a season because you're a Libra rising. So Virgo season's really going to be about healing for you as the sun moves through your 12th house. The sun in your 11th house in Leo season has very much been about community, but I see a lot of healing, a lot of rest for you over the next month, so that when the moon crosses over the sun crosses over your ascendant into Libra, I believe you're a 0-degree Libra rising. I'm pretty sure. When the sun crosses over your ascendant, you're renewed, you're ready to show up again during Libra season. You're going to be feeling yourself, you're going to be confident, ready to step into a whole next version of yourself. But we've been talking a lot lately on these streams about the analogy of the chrysalis, the 12th house being that chrysalis where you go in as the caterpillar and you break down into goo to emerge as the butterfly. And I really see this next month for you as that chrysalis, just being in your bubble, figuring out, what do I need to release? What do I need to heal? You have so many resources and people who can help you in your healing. Don't be afraid to reach out to them. But, you know, there's a big shift and change happening for you. And now that I'm thinking about it, Taurus would be in your eighth house, ruling your eighth house, which is a lot of shadow work and depth and really getting intimate with yourself, going deep, figuring out what's been buried deep down in there. So that's playing into this as well. There could be a change of awareness and motivation to go even deeper and really dig down into the shadows, the muck of what's been hiding in there. Yes, I remember your chart well. But yeah, I see this being a time of deep work for you, and that can be intimidating. But like I said, you have me, you have so many guides around you that are here to support you through that. And just know that Libra season is going to be a whole different energy for you. I know that seems kind of far, but trust me, and Venus is your ruling planet, and Venus is supporting this change, right? So you are being supported in a lot of ways by the changes that are happening too. Diane says, my fiance works in IT systems. He's probably sighing as he hears you say this. Yeah, lots of changes to technology, right? If you're in IT, that's like, oh gosh. I know you said to be careful while driving, and I've seen a report of a fatal car accident. Unfortunately, 2 lives were lost. We were just talking about this last night at a Lionsgate circle I actually went to about the emotions that live in our body, and fright being one of them. And we were just talking about how every time you get in your car, it's like you're on high alert, and our bodies aren't necessarily adapted to be like that. You know, think of even 100 years ago. People were just like living their lives without constant fear of getting crashed into and dying. Driving is scary, right? Especially if you've gotten into a bad car accident. I know that I have a totally different view of driving since after I got into a couple bad accidents. So yes, be careful, but also I'm a very big proponent of don't manifest that, right? I've learned now that I have a little bit of PTSD from getting in a crash. Anytime I see traffic or come into traffic, I feel that fright in my body. And I just take a few clearing breaths, and I just, as I'm breathing out, imagine light emanating from my core. And then I imagine it surrounding my entire car. And I almost put like what's the word I'm looking for? You know, in movies when they have like a shield around them, somebody tell me the word. It's like a force field, right? I almost imagine my light being a force field around my car. Like no one's going to touch me. And I stay in that confidence, and I'm, excuse my language, but like unfuckable with, you know, I'm just like, nope. I do not consent. I do not subscribe to the timeline that I could even get in a crash. I call in my angels. I know I'm protected. So that can be helpful if you're like me and you're like, okay, the energy is chaotic. I know the energy is chaotic, and I don't want to get crashed into. I know I'm a safe driver, but I don't know about anybody else. So that can be really helpful. I remember your Libra rising because you're the first chart I've ever looked at that had a 0-degree Libra rising. Yeah, Virgo season, here we go. I'm like, I have it marked on my calendar when the sun is crossing over my ascendant. I'm like, can't wait, cannot wait, Ken. I have a question. What house system should we use? I noticed the other day that I've been using the whole house system and that the houses were different on your chart from your website. So should is an interesting word, right? Because even the other day we had on Monday, someone was on who is a big proponent of sidereal astrology, which is based on where the planets are in the current constellations. Tropical astrology, which I use and which most astrologers use, is based on mathematical points. And the whole house system basically, like if Danielle, the whole house system would not be different for you because you have a 0-degree rising, right? So your chart is like perfect. Like all of the houses are exactly in one sign, right? So if we all had 0-degree risings, we would all be using the whole house system. But many of us, myself included, and I'll just like pull up the chart to show you if this was a birth chart. Oh, this isn't a good example because right now it's at 1 degree. Let me see. It's not like loading, but here we go. Let me reload this. Okay. Can we see it now? Let's see. Okay. So see how the ascendant, the rising right now is in the middle of Leo. So that would show us that like the first house goes a little bit into Virgo, and the houses aren't perfectly aligned with the signs. And Placidius is that house system. So should is an interesting word. When I'm like just generally thinking about what's happening for me, I kind of just fall back into the whole house system. Like, okay, I know this sign rules this house. So when Mercury moves into Virgo, for example, for me as a Virgo rising, I know it's going to be moving into my first house, but my rising is at 18 degrees. So I know that for the first week and a half of Mercury in Virgo, it's in my 12th house, and then it will go into my first house. That's just kind of how I look at it. Should, it's up to you. Whatever you resonate with more will help you out. And sometimes it's nice to kind of look at both and see both possibilities. But whatever you're feeling drawn to and feeling more comfortable with in the moment, I would say use that. And you're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to go back and forth. There's no right or wrong way to do anything, right? That's my Mercury in Libra. Like, you can do both. You can do all. Let's not make a decision. So much love for you too. You're such a bright light, and I can't wait till I can see you again in person when you're feeling better. Yes, yeah, we can definitely go over it when we do a reading, but whatever is working for you in the moment, that's follow your intuition is what I say. All right, lots of good questions today. Yes, I've read It's Up to You, but wanted to ask. I will reevaluate, though. I do tend to go back and forth. And it could be something for you as well, where you look at your chart in the whole house system, look at your chart with the calculator on my website, the Placidius system. I hope I'm saying that right. And just kind of analyze both and be like, in one system, a planet could be in one house, and in another system, it could be in another house, and be like, do I feel like I'm more this way or that way? This is all just an interpretation of data, right? Astrology is just interpreting data and applying it to our lives. So you can interpret it however you want. There are people out there who are like hardcore, like tropic or sidereal astrology only. Like, everybody who subscribes to tropical astrology is subscribing to an outdated system. Okay, that's fine if you believe that. This is working for me. This is what it feels true to me, and all the feedback I get is that it's resonating. So I don't feel called to switch to sidereal astrology right now, but maybe at some point I will. Today's not that day. Yes, there's a Vedic system too for astrology, so various systems. And I think the Vedic system is similar to the sidereal system, if I understand correctly. It might even be the same, but it's very similar. So in Vedic astrology, if you look up your chart, you'd probably be an entirely different sign. All of your planets would be most likely in the sign before the one they're in right now. And a lot of the world uses the Vedic astrology system. Again, there's no right and wrong way. I would never say like, oh, that system is wrong. You got to find what works for you. And if you're here, you're resonating with my content, then this is probably working for you right now. If you're not, then so much love to you, and find an astrologer who uses sidereal or Vedic astrology. Okay, let's finish out with our affirmation and a card pull. And I realize I did not type in the affirmation, but I'll just say it to you. I welcome new insights. That's the affirmation of the day today. I welcome new insights, being open to new information, being open to new data, new conversations, everything we're doing right now, welcoming new insights, and being curious, staying curious, which is my jam. All right, let's pull a card. I'm going to pull from the Queen of the Moon Oracle deck today, since we've been talking so much about the Scorpio Moon. And we'll see what final message needs to come through from our lovely casual chat today. And I love, Diane, how we were just talking about being open to new information. There are different forms of astrology, being open to new insights. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. That's not my job. I'm just here to share the information that I'm interpreting. All right. Let's see what else needs to come through. Oh, there it is. Just flew out. Trust. The egg moon. trust. Let's find out what other guidance is coming in. But I love this, as we were talking specifically actually about Danielle, and I know Diane has been really resonating with the chrysalis analogy, but you can kind of see here, there is a woman inside an egg, this clear egg, under the moon, under the, I think, waxing moon. And there is a goose or a bird sitting on top of the egg, kind of guarding the egg. And it feels like, for those of us who are in this waiting period, going through a lot of 12th house transits right now, I think Rachel is too, the universe can kind of feel like this duck protecting us, being like, hey, just wait a little longer. You're not quite ready to come out of that shell yet. Here's what it says. Trust yourself. Develop self-trust and joy will follow. You can rely on your own capabilities. Begin to plan carefully for the future. It's the beginning, and I trust myself in all things is the mantra. Apart from the trust we might develop spiritually with our higher power, self-trust is the basis of all other trust. Self-trust is a surety that we can rely upon ourselves, that our decisions are valid, that we ourselves matter, that knowing ourselves combined with trusting ourselves leads to better, more informed decisions about all aspects of our life, including careers and relationships. Self-trust is far more than a flashy show of confidence. It is deeper and farther reaching than that. It is security at the very core that no matter what, our wisdom matters and it is best. It allows for flow and for faith in oneself and the way to do things, moving and choosing in the world. Self-trust is a full acceptance of self. As accepting oneself becomes easier, thus self-trust will begin to shine. This gives greater momentum to anything we choose to tackle or do. Our ancestors saw spring, the great thawing, as a new beginning. They would walk the marshes and plains and find newly laid eggs. More than just a symbol of fertility and hope, the eggs meant that the worst of the cold was over and that the new life really was here. The egg moon was a time of celebration and rejoicing. Wow. I love that this talks about self-trust, trusting ourselves to our core. That's the invitation from the Scorpio moon. It even talked about making more informed decisions, gathering resources, and going through the world in a way that feels good to us. The Scorpio moon is asking us to go deep within and find that trust within, find that security that only we can find deep to our own core. And you know, this was just so on point with trusting ourselves, trusting that spring is coming. For those of us who are going through a bit of a winter right now, who are in that 12th house energy of surrendering and releasing, or even going through a lot of 8th house transits as well. I know that's playing out for a lot of us in the chat. So if you're in that period of like, it's dark right now, I don't know what's coming next, this card is reminding you to trust yourself above all else. Trust your own wisdom. You don't need to look to anyone else to tell you what to do. Trust that you know deep down what is best for you. And yes, trust the universe has got your back and all is working for your highest good. I love that, Ken, but you have your own back too. You have your own back. The universe will show up and meet you more than halfway if you trust in yourself and your own innate ability to move through the world. Totally goes with everything we shared today, and a great message for this time. Trusting the process, absolutely. And trusting that you will break free from the shell, that you'll come out of the shell and be new and be reborn if you feel like you're the girl in the shell right now. It's just, there's a season to everything, right? So yeah, Maribel, trust the process. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this episode of Transits today. A very lovely chat with you all today. Thank you to all of my steadfast supporters for sticking with me through that power outage. That was wild. I'll have to go back and see what that looked like and how long I was gone, but I'm really happy we could pick back up where we left off and keep moving forward. So tomorrow, I will be back tomorrow morning with a weekend episode of Transits Today. We'll walk through the transits Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, get you prepared for the weekend, for that square between Mars and Saturn, the lessons that it might bring for us. And another reminder that we are getting very close to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm doing a giveaway right now. So you can win a free astrology reading with me if you share about this live stream that you're watching right now, or any of my live streams on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Just make sure to tag me so I can see that you've entered and add your name to the list. And once we get past that 1,000 subscriber mark, I'll do a giveaway and choose someone to win a free astrology reading. Almost there, everyone, and I'm just so grateful for all of you who are here and sharing about what we're doing together, the community we're building together. You're all so special. I know, you guys have my back. I love it. I love you all. Thank you for choosing to align with the universe today, Nick. All right. I hope you all have a beautiful Jupiter day, a beautiful Thursday. I will see you right back here tomorrow morning. Until I see you next, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.